Pam Jahnke is here, taking your calls at 270-9933 if you have any egg questions or how the food gets into your house.
I'll do my best.
Good to see you.
Been a little while.
Yeah.
Been busy.
Corn knee-high by the 4th of July. That doesn't hold anymore.
Not anymore, it doesn't.
It's up,
yeah.
over your head.
Over your head now. We just got the latest crop quality updates, and about 87% of our corn's called good to excellent by the growers. 88% of our soybeans are good to excellent, and yeah, well beyond the expectation of knee-high by 4th of July. Most of you, I hope, are already enjoying your first round with sweet corn from Wisconsin. We had been getting from the South imports for a little while, but now we're all on Wisconsin, so feel free to enjoy that. It's going to be a shorter season because we've got so much heat, so that's something you want to think about. Even you gardeners that probably have one variety in your garden, you're probably telling the kids pick it and eat it fast, or freeze it, or do whatever you're going to do with it, because as this heat comes on, obviously the corn's going to mature very quickly, turning that sugary starch that you're enjoying right now, it'll get it into more of a protein. That's when it's kind of like more animal food.
And most of the corn you see when you're driving in the country is not sweet corn.
Indeed.
But you see the different lines sometimes.
Sometimes. Here's a telltale sign on sweet corn and field corn. If you're driving down the road and you see the top fuzzy, we call them tasseled on the top of the corn, if it's a real light yellow, that's generally sweet corn, and usually sweet corn's a little shorter. If it's kind of a almost dusty brown, that's probably field corn. That's just for cows or maybe ethanol, something like that. And Susan and I were saying, I got a Channel 3 viewer that shot me an email earlier and said, hey, we're next to a field and one row is tall, the other is short. Why is that? That's probably field corn that's being grown for seed. So the males are one, the females are the other. They're cross-pollinating right in front of you, and that'll be our seed corn for next year.
All right, people want to talk
driving the ratings. Here we go.
People want to talk to you. Let's go to Kathy from Lodi. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi.
Hi, which question?
My question is, driving around the Lodi area, I have seen, I think it's a late summer crop, parsnip. I've actually stopped and walked into the field to pull something up, and it looks like a white carrot. And I'm wanting to know, is that a crop that is now being grown, and what is it used for?
Good question.
You betcha. Good question. And it's a hot new trend for a lot of our Wisconsin farmers and people that have had grazing animals out for a while. What they do, Kathy, is they grow that. It can be a turnip. It can be a parsnip. I've seen a lot of different things. And what that does is if you're grazing animals, they'll go out and they'll eat the tops for sure. Sometimes they'll pull them out of the ground, eat the bottoms too. So it's a grazing opportunity. And also it keeps our soil in place. It keeps a lot of our nutrients in place. So it is a hot new trend when it comes to conservation practices on our no-till ground, on our organic ground, and it's also something that we can allow our livestock in certain situations to eat. So you are seeing all kinds of, they're changing it up out there.
Very interesting. Let's go to Denise from Beloit. Hi, Denise. What's your question? Denise, are you there?
Family history is with dairy cows, Holsteins mostly. My uncle and my grandfather had dairy farms. I also wanted to find out about the colored, is that the black and brown beef cattle?
Okay.
Colored cattle.
Colored cattle. I put that on the market. It's on the midday. That basically does mean beef cattle, anything but dairy. That's why it's Holstein bull calves, and then it's the colored beef calves. That'd be anything but dairy. And when you talk about brown and black cattle, sometimes that's a crossbred dairy animal. It might be a Jersey with a Holstein, something like that.
Interesting. All right, let's go to G in Fitchburg. Hi, G.
Hi, I have a question. I watch your noon show, and I always just do not understand the farm report. Can you explain what all those numbers? I was raised in the city, so if you could explain all that, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're a sweetie, and thank you for asking. I get that question a lot, and part of it is the time. I don't get much time during the noon show to tell you everything. If the arrows are up, that means that they're trading higher. If the arrows are down, they're trading lower. That's simple enough. Where it gets complicated is some of the jargon that's connected with that. I do my best to translate it for you. The cattle numbers are price per pound that farmers are being paid for the whole animal. I try to make sure that you understand dairy, that's in hundredweight. And nobody buys milk in a hundredweight, not even a dairy farmer. So I try to make it into gallons, but you're right. It does get confusing. I do my best to slow down. If you can tell me, G, which one is most confusing, I'll start tomorrow with that one and slow down and explain it for you. Thank you there very much for the call.
But quickly, do you know when the Wisconsin potatoes are going to be planted?
Potatoes are coming out right now. We've got about 8% of the potatoes harvested already.
Harvested, yeah.
We'll have more, obviously, and they'll harvest those almost right the way until October, depending on the weather. So look for roadside stands, starting like Wisconsin Dells, all the way north up 13. Friendship is a great place where Farm Babe likes to buy at the roadside. You can get 50 pounds for $1, $2.
All right. Try to squeeze that in for you, Holly.
Thank you, Holly.
We're out of
Appreciate
time.
it.
Thanks for come back soon.
Yeah, let's do this again.
My pleasure,
Good to see
Ken.
you.
Good to see you.
Thanks for calling in, everyone, and we'll be right back.